The murder of a Loveland woman and her 16-year-old daughter while 4 other children were in the home has shocked the community.
The man responsible was identified as her ex, Javier Acevedo, who police immediately started searching for. Well, he shot himself as law enforcement closed in. We first reported this story when it happened back in July. Immediately, questions were raised about calls that came into Loveland police before the murders and multiple attempts for protection orders that went nowhere. CBS 4 reporter Karen Morfitt investigating those concerns and speaking to that woman's family, wanting to know why were those requests denied.
Lindsay Dom's brother says his family should be focused on healing. Instead, they're angry about what didn't happen in his sister's case, from the police response before the murders to the court system that repeatedly denied Lindsay's attempts to get protection.
She had done the things that you should do in these situations.
She is Lindsay Dom, Garen Dom's sister.
Her children were her life.
Lindsay was home with her 5 children when her ex, Javier Acevedo, shot and killed her and her 16-year-old daughter, Meadow.
It just seemed like it was all so preventable.
Twice, a judge in Larimer County had denied Lindsay's request for a permanent protection order against Acevedo.
I don't understand. I really don't. I do not understand.
Transcripts of those hearings obtained by CBS 4 show in September of 2021, Dom went into court alone, unable to afford an attorney. Acevedo could. Dom struggled to present her case, at one point even pleading with the judge.
They just want to humiliate me. This is not right.
So if she could have afforded an attorney, would that have saved her life? That's as bad as any of it.
The order was denied, despite Acevedo being on intense supervised probation with an ankle monitor for violating a different protection order against another woman in Denver. He had agreed to relinquish any firearms, but police now believe a gun purchased in March was never surrendered.
The system is just going to take his word for it, right? You don't go to his house and check. What does the system do to make sure? And obviously the answer was nothing.
In June of 2022, Dom made a second attempt to obtain a protection order. Despite presenting threatening emails, texts, and calls, it was denied.
This is also a person who is on intensive supervised probation.
A judge saying in part, if I can't decide who's telling me the truth, I have to rule in favor of a defendant. Lindsay's response, more like a premonition.
It's just a matter of time when he's going to kill me.
Less than a month later, on July 28th, Garen got a call from his mother.
She hadn't even finished telling me, and I knew what happened.
He rushed to Lindsay's home, where police had taken over.
The people that you talk to when you're in that scene, they're all social workers and, victim advocates and whatever. And sure, they'll be the first one to tell you, hey, look, the system is completely broken.
Jennifer Isle is the executive director of Project Safeguard, a legal advocacy group for domestic violence survivors.
We do put way too much of this on survivors to get help, to get a protection order, to find resources, to find a lawyer, to pay for a lawyer, when they're not the ones causing the harm.
Not only is the system difficult to navigate alone, she says there isn't one consistent way to track domestic violence cases across the state. But her biggest concern, those behind the bench.
Judicial officers who are hearing these cases aren't necessarily trained in domestic violence, and they don't understand what it takes for someone to leave. They don't understand that once someone leaves their abuser, that is the most dangerous time.
A state review board formed to look into the issues that lead to fatal domestic violence cases recommended that change this year. And in June, a law was passed requiring increased training for judges, the same month Dom was in court.
The risk to our justice system is if judges don't understand the trauma, the complexities around victims of domestic violence, we might mismanage cases.
Colorado Attorney General Phil Weiser says Colorado can do better.
It can't just be law enforcement acts differently, or judges act differently, or prosecutors, or society. All of us have to ask, what can we be doing better?
Dom and his family say it needs to be a priority.
It's absolutely going to happen again. It's probably happened today. It probably happened while we're having this conversation.
That review board has also recommended starting a domestic violence court focused solely on these types of cases, but they say it would take a significant amount of resources. It's something they are still considering. The Dom family, now caring for Lindsay's 4 children, have launched an online fundraiser page if you'd like to help with their recovery.
Karen, thank you for all of that. Tomorrow marks the start of Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and we have gathered a list of resources for you on our website, cbscolorado.com.
Amanda